right, David Allen Smoker. What you got, brother?
Well, it occurred to me this week at work that I hadn't been on any of my social media much in the last couple weeks. So I was there at my lunch break catching up on some things, and one of my favorite Facebook sites is the Busted. Dubois County Jail.
Busted news. I'm
That's
all
what it
in,
is.
brother.
And,
I'm not surprised that either one of you are.
Yeah. So, and normally I'm pretty up on that. Like, I'm the one, like, I'll be sending people text messages at like 5:30 while I'm at work, like doing the pre-day who got put in the clink. But while I was sitting there thinking about it, I was like, man, that poor SOB right there. That ain't the picture you want when you get put in the clink.
No.
I worked with a fella back up there in Brazil, and he got himself in a little bit of trouble, and, you know, they had to put him in the pokey one night pretty late, and he wasn't ready, and he looked terrible. Like, he was not looking good. And worked with a really good crew up there that treated you like family, so because of that,
I bet they ate
printed
him
his
alive.
picture off and was posted all over all the buildings, and I think 2 years later they were still getting posted up here and there. But that got me thinking, like, do you think about what your mugshot photo, like your pose, what you're going to do there? You ever put any thought into that?
Well, do you have a choice?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Now, I'm pretty sure that Johnny Cash's was staged. You can't just go throwing the bird and, you know, they're not going to let that fly. I think you got to keep your hands down probably. Probably a little bit like your driver's license now. You probably can't show your teeth. But, you know, you get some folks in there that look real pouty, like some big fella, like big burly guy looking like he just, like he's going to cry or something. And, I mean, that's not a look you want going into the clink.
No.
So here's the thing. As a former defense attorney, I would sometimes prejudge a book by its cover based on the mugshot.
Yeah.
If you took a very sincere and stern-looking mugshot, it was one of two reasons. One, you're probably still either drunk or high. Like, not high on marijuana or high on life. Like, you got something there that you're coming down off of a little bit because depending on the last time you used, could be that time. You know, you're coming down no matter what. The second of it is, if it's the stern one, this guy's been around the block before. He knows not to smile. He knows not to make the joke of his mugshot. The ones where there's the tears and crying, depending on if it's male or female, determines kind of, I don't know. It's like, is it going to be a real emotional battle to where you got to deal with it all the time? Or is there some kind of substance abuse, alcohol that's made them just emotional like that? Because we've all been around that random drunk girl that just cries. Like, one bad thing happens and it's just bawling. Ruins the night. The guy that's laughing or smiling comes off like a smug prick no matter what.
That's
So,
what I'm going to go with, by the way. I'm a smile.
Yeah.
You are?
Based on the circumstances, but yeah.
Depending, I think a lot of it is depending on the offense, because you see some of these people like that, for instance, have like had an OWI resulting in death, and they're still drunk and they smile
They
and
have
laugh
no
about
clue.
it, and they're the worst because that mugshot goes everywhere. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Looks like
Clown.
Krusty the Clown.
Bozo.
I have not put any thought towards a mugshot because I hope I don't ever have to pose for one.
No, that's a good place to be, I guess.
But I mean, if I do, like I said, I mean, if I go to jail for DUI,
Which you wouldn't, because we
because we don't
drink responsibly.
Yeah, we don't condone drinking and driving. But if somehow, some way, somebody bet me $1 million to do it,
Yeah. You'd probably smile then. I mean, it's worth $1 million
I
bucks.
probably would have. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably smile, or I'd probably do that smug little smirk type deal, thing. But
I think a lot of it's in your eyes too. It's not just the smile; it's your eyes.
I feel like if I was to get arrested.
what about in your forehead? Would it be in your forehead?
Oh,
It could
geez.
be.
Look at that feller.
I guess I feel like if I was to get arrested, I probably would be pretty aware of the fact that I'd probably be getting arrested at the end of the night when
Yeah.
I set off to do whatever I was getting arrested to do. So there'd probably be an overabundance of confidence or satisfaction in my eyes, I'd say.
You really think so?
Yeah. Like, I don't see me, like, not knowing ahead of time that I'm probably going to get arrested after this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you like if you were like so if you had a shit ton of confidence, you're like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to get busted, and then you do get busted. You're thinking your mugshot would be different in that situation versus like if you thought, oh yeah, for sure, we're going
so
to jail.
if somebody comes to the house and forces entry upon the house and threatens the family, and then a fella does what he's got to do, and then I'd probably have a pissed off look because hey, I'm within my constitutional rights here to
right.
stand my ground and
Right.
and, all that jazz.
Or like if you just decided that you were done paying taxes, and then you went to jail for like tax evasion.
Ooh, I bet you'd love.
What kind of what kind of look would you have on your face in that day?
Well, I think I might have
hope you're
said on
wearing-
the show one time, like, I'll never go to jail for
I'm not going back.
like OWI on my lawnmower. That one will be a resisting arrest. Like, it's
Oh,
just
you
not gonna
guaranteed.
like,
Yeah.
not in America, buddy.
Yeah.
That's why I don't
Yeah.
drink within 15 feet of the roadways. But once I'm out of the easement there, kiss my grits. I pay taxes on this and the beer I'm drinking and the mower I'm riding and the gas I'm about to put in it.
Oh shit! I do know a friend. I know a gentleman that he got one. He got an OWI in his lawnmower in his own yard.
George Jones. Well, he wasn't in his yard. He was on the highway.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
But yeah, I guess, somebody really crossed the line with the missus or something, and I was like, made the conscientious decision that they're just to,
Yeah. Whatever happens, happens.
yeah. And then you just know you're going to go, and it's okay. Well, that's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't see too many instances where I think I'd get arrested and caught off guard by it. Like,
You're saying you're more of a planned arrestee.
More of a premeditated type.
I guess
guy.
I don't think I'm doing enough to just get arrested like with that, on a Tuesday at
Yeah.
2.
I'd say if I got arrested, like dealing with the judicial system would be the least of my worries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would think that's what happens when you get out of the game a little bit.
I'd say a
But you
guy
do-
with your stature and your reputation, if you got,
You'd smile if you got arrested.
no way.
100%.
No.
Because he'd know that he'd have them.
No, he'd be crushed.
It
No.
depends what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It's like that. I saw there was a video that went viral a few years ago with this. There's this black fella. He was like a lawyer. He was at a bank or something, and they were trying to arrest this woman. And he was like, "Well, you don't have a right to arrest her because she's not done anything." They said, "No, the order is we're supposed to take her in." Blah blah blah. He's like, "Well, you just can't do that." And then they told him, "If you don't get out of the way, we're going to arrest you for what do you call that?
Obstruction.
Obstruction of justice.
He said, "You're going to arrest me for obstruction for this." And they're like, "Yes." He's like, "You're aware that under, Alabama state law, that's not how this works. Listen here, fella, we're taking you to jail if you don't back up." He's like, "Well, you're not allowed to do that." And then they did. And I mean, he didn't resist, but he was like, "You guys really shouldn't be doing this. Isn't going to work out how you're thinking, you really don't want to put me in handcuffs and put me in that car."
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how Casey'd be like, "Okay,
Well,
fella, go
but-
ahead. Let's,
But the way
You're
the
coughing.
obstruction statute is written in the state of Indiana, that if you in any way knowingly, intentionally
Interfere with police
interfere,
business.
obstruct, et cetera, of a public official in official capacity, yada, yada, yada. So, when people give refusal, Du Bois County has, I don't know if they are anymore, they may, but when you do a refusal, they will charge you with obstruction because in their official capacity, you've obstructed, interfered with their investigation.
Yeah.
you can't, so you can just wildly arrest anybody as part of an investigation with no means or reason to?
Like if
No, they have
if
to have
they're
probable
if they're
cause.
carrying on their official duties and in their official capacity, they're involved in X, Y, and Z. They can, yeah.
So if you get pulled over for drinking and they have
Sure.
probable cause, they have probable cause to pull you over, to make the traffic stop or to approach you. And if they smell it or if they assume or they have probable cause to believe that you're under the influence, and they want to give you a breathalyzer and you refuse.
Well, so
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I'm sitting here in the smoker's lounge, rocking in my rocking chair, listening to the radio, and 3 police cruisers pull in and say, "Hey, we're going to search your property because we're looking for this escaped someone." And I say, "Well, no, because you can't search my property. I've not done anything wrong." Is that obstructing
there-
justice and I
well-
can be arrested?
No, well, because there's an exception to the warrant requirements
Okay.
protected by the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
If they're in their official capacity in hot pursuit of an escaped
Whatever.
criminal,
Yeah.
there is an exception to the general rule that could be. Now, I would hope local law enforcement would have that conversation and not go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, we saw this guy, like we watched him run into your house. Like we were in hot pursuit. His car's wrecked at the bottom down here. They're not just going to roll up and say, hey, some guy escaped from Branchville. We're searching your house. I would hope not. If they do, Dave, give me a call because we'll come have that conversation. But there has to be something more to what they're doing.
Yeah, just okay, yeah.
I mean, they're not going to come in and kick the door, kick the door down and do all that other stuff. But it's just kind of one of those things. So I don't know. That's what it is. But there's some exceptions to the Fourth Amendment.
I'm not going to try to plan for a mugshot. I'm just going to let it rip.
Just from the heart.
Yeah. Whatever I'm feeling at the time.
So there was a poster, I think it was in Pike County. There was a poster of a lady that showed like her 14 or 15 like drug arrest in New York City, and like to see like very pretty girl.
Oh yeah, by
And
the time meth was done, she looked like a
You know what
Oh,
it's
my
called?
goodness.
Faces of Meth.
Yep.
That's what it's called.
It's brutal.
Faces of Meth.
It is brutal. It is. Well, Smoker, hopefully maybe we could do a t-shirt with mugshots.
Yeah.
I mean, McAfee made a ton of money off of the allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just wild.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to look at because people have just pissed it away. You get one shot at this on this globe, this spot we call Earth.